There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
What's happening? All
Nothing.
right. Happy Saturday to you. Happy
Happy
Saturday.
Saturday. Happy Saturday.
Yes.
How are you?
Oh, I'm out here. Florida can't get their mind right as far as this weather. It just got finished raining like really bad, and now it's like super duper hot, unbearable to where you can't breathe. But hey, that's Florida. I guess we're getting the what is it that whatever that storm is supposed to be hitting Louisiana. I guess we're getting some of it, just the rain part, not all the other craziness.
Yeah, the tropical
But,
storm part of it.
but welcome to 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast. I am super duper excited for you to come on and be my guest. So before we get started, I'm gonna just do some house cleaning as far as 12 Faces of Sober, and then we'll go ahead and jump right into the interview.
Sounds good.
But like I said, 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast is basically a show to showcase many talents. I myself I'm an author, and I decided I think it was maybe about 7-8 months ago to showcase other authors, showcase their talents, be able to come on and speak to my followers and allow them to gain more exposure to the country. Not saying I have a whole lot of exposure, but I know a few people and they like to read. So that's the purpose of it. Also, like I said, I'm celebrating. I just celebrated 4 years and 9 months sober on I think the 14th or 15th. And this is another way for me to reach out to the sober community, in which I've also had sober authors on here. I've had veterans. Like I said, I'm a veteran of the Army. So this is just an opportunity or a platform for people to speak. Small business owners be able to showcase their what they have out to offer. And like I said, once again, be able to, you never know. So there's a service needed for someone everywhere in the world. So it's just a matter of, can you match it up right at the right time and the right person to be able to view it. I don't know if I'll be able to show the shirt, but I'm doing a clearance sale on the 12 Faces of Sober. If you go on the website, 12facessober.com, if you click on this shirt, actually the gold and the gray hoodie, I'm going to have those on clearance coming tomorrow. I'm going to change the price, if not tonight, tomorrow, just to give people the opportunity to get my spring merchandise, because I just uploaded a whole new line of fall and winter apparel. And that's also on 12facessober.com. But instead of clicking on those two items, you'll click on merchandise, and it has everything. I got T-shirts, I got spandex for women, biker shorts for women, coffee mugs, hoodies, V-necks. I got a little bit of everything, because every time I wear my shirts, people look at me, because for one, you're not going to see a sober shirt on anybody. And a black person, even more, is very surprising. So let's see what else. You can get my book, 12 Faces of Sober, on Amazon. All you got to do is type in the number 12 Faces of Sober or Kenneth L. Watson Jr. And hopefully you'll be able to pull me up. I hope. And let's see what else. I think that's it. But again, my guest today, Miss Aubrey Monet. I've been following her, like I said, through networking, as far as through the Black authors community, and been following her just silently, just seeing what she's posting. And every post that I've seen has always been something positive. It's affirming that your purpose, your well-being. And, those are the type of pages that you want to be on. A lot of people nowadays with social media, they want to gossip. They want to talk about things that in a lot of ways it's unnecessary. And I guess that's what keeps social media afloat, is those type of news and everything. But instead of talking about the negativity of social media, let's talk about the positive work that this author is doing. So once again, welcome to 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast. Like I said, the author, Aubrey Monet. Enough of me talking. You can go ahead and share a little bit about yourself, and we'll jump into the interview.
Okay. Well, hello to everyone watching and listening. I am Aubrey Monet. I am an author. I have been an author for about 15, 16 months now. I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I now reside in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I am a sister. I am a friend. I'm a dog mom. And I am just an all-around great spirit and a happy person.
And you said you've been an author. You said 16 months. Is that what you said?
Yes.
No. When did you get the calling to actually like start writing?
I wrote my first book in April of last year. So I wrote my first 2 books in April of last year, finally released my first one right after that in April, and then my second one later the same year in August.
Okay. And what inspired you to want to write?
I went on this venture and told myself I'm going to read 100 books. I didn't make it through the 100, but after I finally made it. But in the midst of reading all the other urban fiction novels, I was like, I want to try to write. So reading urban fiction novels is really what inspired me. And then pandemic hit, and I was like, I want to try to write a book, and I did it.
And then you, as I mentioned in the introduction about you, you have 5 books that are out.
I do.
And where exactly can people purchase those books?
You can purchase them on Amazon, the hard copies on Amazon, and the ebooks on Kindle or Kindle Unlimited.
That's cool. That's real good. Cool. And then you just mentioned about urban fiction.
Yeah.
Now, I had to do my homework because, like I said, I mean, I've been an author now a year, and as far as categories and stuff like that, I just wanted to put out a book. I didn't necessarily know that, certain categories. So, what's up, Corey? What's up, Griff? 2 of my partners from the Army. So how does it feel to be an urban fiction author, I guess?
It feels amazing because you can, like you say, you can be an author of many different things. But for me, urban fiction was where I needed to be. It's me, it's my community, it's those around me, it's those near me, books that I've read. So to be a part of that pool felt liberating, to be honest, because I hadn't written anything before. So it was just like writing and being able to connect with those who have that write urban fiction felt great. So it feels good.
Now, wait a minute, make sure I'm right. Now, are any of your books based off of personal experience?
I won't say yes. What I will say is that I can connect with every single character that I've written about. I will say they do share a piece of me in some way, shape, or form, whether it's their personality or their job description or their attire or something. In some way, I can connect with every one of my characters, but personal life, partially. I
feel you. The reason why I asked that is because, my first book, 12 Faces of Sober, is clearly about my personal life. Like I spilled the beans. I didn't care because I felt like it needed to be told. But there will be a book. There will be a book that, I'll reveal it now. Like I said, I have a radio background, and so the names have been changed to protect the innocence. But it's a story that needs to be told because, the life in radio in the early 2000s is definitely different for what radio is today in 2021.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel like, if I would have stayed in the game, and I'll say it, there wouldn't truly be a Charlemagne the God. You know what I'm saying? There wouldn't be these big name people because there are people that came before him and truly respected the game and wanted to be in it. And it wasn't for the glorification. So maybe one day I'll drop it, but I definitely won't put my name in it for sure. For sure.
You gotta do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will. I'm right now. I'm working on my next book is about the Army, as I mentioned, and a lot of people don't like it. I found a lot of people in my the friend suggestions, people that I don't, that worked with me. Now all of a sudden want to venture onto my page, and I'm like, well, maybe you must have did something wrong for you now to want to, worry about it. So that's pretty dope. Let's see. Here we go. Let me see where we at. Where we at? So you answered the question about personal experiences. That is cool. I'm gonna respect that and not ask.
Hey,
um,
if you want to ask, I'm an open book. When it comes to my craft, I'll answer anything.
okay. Well, don't worry. I got a couple questions that I didn't go over with you. So this on purpose.
Okay.
Um, now, let's see. Let me see. I asked a question. Let's see. Did I ask about one of your books being turned into a movie? Did I
No.
mention that? Okay. Well, yeah. Let's ask that question. Do you feel of these five? Because I'm gonna go over them. Uh, Passionate Crime, Passionate Crime Part 2. Why Say I Do? The Heart Wants What Hurt It. My Missing Piece, My Other Half. Of those five, which one do you think would you want to be a movie first? How about that?
Okay. First,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. My Missing Piece, My Other Half. I'll say that one. That book is the longest, but it has.
This is Kim 507. You know who Kim? Yeah, I don't know who Kim.
Kim
I don't know.
07, that is my mother, my
Oh,
amazing mother. And in
okay.
Curtis Life, that is my really, really good best friend and business partner, Lupe. So those are my babies.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, she sent a request to join in and stuff.
Oh,
So, oh, oh, dang, I lost her. Hopefully you'll be able to get back in. The interview was just getting started. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Ooh.
okay.
All right.
Sorry, we're all over the place.
No, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. I was trying to I don't know what I did, but maybe I disconnected you. I'm sorry if I did. My apologies.
It's okay.
So, okay, where were we at? I'm sorry.
What book I could see turning into a movie?
Okay.
So my Missing Piece, My Other Half. In the process of me writing it, I went through and was like, I could totally see parts of this book being a movie. So I envisioned it being a movie while I was writing it. So that
Okay.
one for sure. And then if I had to pick another one after that, it'll probably be the Passionate Crime series.
And why is My Missing Piece, My Other Half? Why would that be something that would be on the top of the list for a movie?
That book is my favorite book. Everybody, I mean, all my books are my favorite, but I poured a lot into that book. That was the very first book that I actually wrote. Most people know that Why Say I Do was the first one that was released, and it's because it was shorter. But I actually wrote My Missing Piece, My Other Half first, and obviously had to put it through edits, which took a lot longer. But I put everything I had into that book, literally blood, sweat, tears, feelings, emotions. That book came from a very personal place. So it will always be ranked my favorite.
Speaking of emotions, I ran into that too, as far as writing mine, because and it was certain chapters, and talking about my marriage, that was probably like the hardest, the toughest thing, because it was like, do I want to share everything, or do I want to leave certain things out? And I ran into it like, I don't care. Like, her baby daddy was a drug dealer or is a drug dealer. I don't know. 50-year-old still slinging drugs. But I mentioned it in the book, and my sister was like, because she was one of the last, people to view it before I had released it. And they called me Junior. So she was like, Junior, are you sure you want to list this? I said, why not?
Right.
It was like, I said it to him, to his face, and didn't have a problem saying it then. So why would I have a problem with saying it now in a book? Exactly. And so, I guess it, and it's fun. And I thought about that when I wrote that question. I was like, she's gonna say her first book. What the heck? You talk about some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what is happening, but that's okay. That is quite all right. We're going to get her back in here again. Griff, I am super duper happy that you are 107 days sober. And like I said, whenever you want to chop it up, bro, you know my number. You know I ain't got no problem. What up, Corey? What's up, bro? I'm glad you came in. Boss the Poet 91. What's happening? I can't see your profile. I'm just gonna say hello. How you doing? Welcome to 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast. Miss Aubrey Monet, come on back in. Uh-oh, there we go. Let's try this again. Let's see if it works. See, look, I thought I was gonna be the one over here having all the technical
It's
difficulties,
me. I'm
and
so
it's you.
sorry. I
Uh,
apologize. We got a lot going
nah,
on.
it's all good. No worries. You know, hey, as long as you know, we finish the interview, it don't matter. You know what I'm
We'll
saying? Like,
finish it.
yeah, it's all good. Um, yeah, like what I was saying was, you know, as I thought about that question, I'm like, she's gonna say her first one. And because like I said, you don't know what the next book is going to look like. So the first book was like, okay, well, if I'm going to tell it, I'm going to tell it, regardless of whatever the topic is, the content, you're going to tell it. And that's kind of how it was for me, because when I first decided to work on my book, I was still in grad school, so I was working on my master's degree, and it was like all the students. So big shouts out to St. Cloud State University in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Like just meeting those youngsters. Like I said, I was an alumni prior. I graduated from that school in 2003, and to go back and to be able to like say, okay, look, man, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I was just homeless literally like 2 or 3 months prior to coming to school. I literally came out of rehab and went straight to school, went straight to college. Like I'm applying, like this is what I was applying for grad school in treatment, because I knew like, okay, I think I was 36 or 37. This is 2017, no, 2016, into 2016. And I was just like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm like, I don't want to live with my mom anymore. And even then I wasn't living with her. I just came back from Arizona, stayed with her temporarily, but I knew I was going to treatment. But I knew that once I got out, I had to have my own again. And then the crazy process of going through a divorce, all within the first couple of months of being sober was definitely a challenge. But I knew that once I got through the grad school process, that I would have more time to put into my book. And that's pretty much what I did. Is that right when I think I decided to move to Jacksonville, January of, I think it was like 2019. And so once I was finished with school, I was like, well, I don't have nothing else to do, so I'll go ahead and I'll start writing it. And as I was mentioning before I went on this long tangent, like that was emotional to write about that, because the pain was still fresh. And so it was like I had all these dislikes for her. And it was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and tell it. Okay, well, yeah, she did this. Oh, yeah, she did. Oh, yeah, she got arrested. Oh, I'm like, but her family don't even know it. But I said, they gonna know it now, And so, yeah, so I think that's pretty neat. All right, let's see where we at. Let's see. Do you think it's? I know I saw on one of your recent posts in regards to journaling. Do you think it's important to write, type, voice your thoughts or emotions? Like, why is that important?
I feel as though it's important because it's therapeutic. It helps in this society, day and age. Everybody feels like holding things in and bottling things up is eventually going to like heal them once they go to sleep and wake back up. And that's not the case. You have to release it. And I feel like journaling, typing, singing, whatever, releases it in a healthy manner. Because there's nothing like releasing something in an unhealthy manner, lashing out on people, saying things you don't mean, saying things you're not supposed to say, putting it on social media. So if you find a way to do it in a healthy manner, I would say go journaling for sure.
And then you have a journal out that people can purchase too. Am I correct?
I do. I got them right here. It's gonna be backwards when I show it, but it's
Okay.
called Healing Starts from Within, and it's a self-love journal. So in the first couple pages, I touch on shadow work. So have you ever heard of shadow work before?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so to describe it in a nutshell, shadow work is pretty much you engaging with addressing your inner ego, your inner child, your inner trauma, something that you've suppressed, something that you haven't worked through, or, you know, just something bestowed in you that's causing you to act out, causing you to not be such a healthy person. And I'll read you what it says. So, shadow work is finding, addressing, and healing your inner ego that has been ignored, suppressed, and unhealed, while also figuring out how this ego was created to begin with. So I touch on shadow work in the very beginning of this self-love journal, and I give you tips and gems and tools for questions and steps for someone who needs to embark on this shadow work journey so that they can start their healing process and evolve to become a better person. And I always say you do not need to be 100% evolved and healed to be there. I just need you to take it one day and one step at a time. So in my journal, I give you those steps and prompts, and the rest of the journal is just empty journaling pages for you to just write it out, for you to just talk about whatever you may be feeling, or saying things that you feel like you can't say out loud, and just having the space to express yourself. Also in this journey, I give you things to do when you're feeling lonely within yourself. So if there's someone who's looking for affection from somebody other than themselves, I give them tips on how to fill themselves with affection. I won't read those because some of them are a little inappropriate, but I give them those tips and gems. If they're looking to feel more confident, things that they can do in that nature, the different forms of therapy that they can use, like burn therapy, like music therapy, meditation. And by burn therapy, I mean writing out your feelings, emotions. If there's someone that you're currently angry with, or someone who has wronged you in the past, write them a letter. The thing is that they never get the letter because you burn it. But once you burn it, you're releasing everything that you wrote. You're releasing the feelings that you had. You're releasing the anger, the resentment, the hurt, and the pain, everything that you felt all that time for this person or this situation. The moment you burn it, I need you to release it. So I go over that in my self-love journal because I want our world to evolve and to be healthy and to be pure and positive. So that was the background in, you know, creating my self-love journal.
Yeah, you just gave me like a flashback, because where was I? Because like I've been in treatment, I've been in homeless shelters. I wrote a letter, and I can't remember if it was in the homeless shelter I was in Phoenix,
Okay.
or if it was when I was in rehab in Minnesota. But I wrote this letter, and you touched on everything, because it was like what I wanted to do once I got out of treatment. And you know, and I was still uncertain at that moment as far as I was going to continue to be married, you know. And then I was like, I want to be treated this way. I don't want to, you know, go through X, Y, and Z. I want to be able to see my family. I want to, you know. But the crazy part is I still have not read that letter since getting out. So I'm going to do it. I might have a part of one of my shows where it's a solo show, and I'm just reading the letter and see exactly what I achieved. Did I achieve anything? Did I, you know, better myself and stuff like that? And that's what I think the journal is that, you know, journaling, it gives you the opportunity to get whatever inner thoughts you have and put it on paper, and then be able to come back later on and address it. Okay, am I a better person today than what I was when I wrote this? Or did somebody at work piss me off and I had to, express it on paper, and then, okay, now we cool, you know? So, I mean, that's really dope. That is truly dope. I like the concept and idea. I've been thinking about journaling or having one myself. I just have it's only me. So at a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I have all these ideas, but then I'm like, do I have time to do it amongst traveling, going to see family and all that stuff? So, but yeah, I like the idea, I like the concept, and I think that it's truly therapeutic. And I like some of the other things that you mentioned in terms of I'm like matching up the questions. My phone is on my keyboard, so it's typing and getting a different letters. So bear with me. So I guess that's my see, I told you. Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't want to lose my place. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. All right, where are we at? Yeah, for that. So have you done any speaking engagements?
I have not publicly, no. Would I love to? Absolutely. I'm always willing to be a voice for any and everyone because I know that there's something that I have to say that even the smallest person might want to hear, and it may make an impact in their life. So I would love to, but at the moment I have not.
Okay, that's what's up. And let's see. What about public events? Have you done any?
I did a book signing back in November of last year for myself. Other than that, as it pertains to just me, no, I have not. I've been a part of an event, but it wasn't mine. But no.
Okay. And how was that book signing?
It was different. I was nervous for sure. I was very nervous. It was in the middle of a pandemic. I had to do it outdoors, and November in Colorado is not the warmest. But I tried to pick a good, I tried to pick a good time of day so that at least the sun was warm. So it's like a drive-by book signing. People pulled up. I signed their books, took a couple pictures, and then they pulled off, and I gave them a little thank you gift bag, and then that was it. So it was pretty good. My first one. When you do something for the first time, you learn what you could do better the next time and what you should have done the first time and do it better, add it into the next one. So for it to be my first one, I think it went really good. I had a great time.
Yeah, I never forget it. It was a lady. She was from Chicago. I never forget it. I did a Juneteenth event here in Jacksonville, and my partner, he helped me. Actually, the guy I'm about to go over to his house, he helped me out. And then so like we sitting there, we set up the booth and everything, and we outside, street fair, and I'm like, okay, people are gonna come up to me. I know it's gonna happen. People was just walking by. The lady walked up to me and she bumped me and was like, she was in the next booth over. She was like, if you don't start talking to these people, I'm gonna sell your books for you. And I was like, okay. I was like, at that point I had no choice. But see, like that was one of my things. It was like, even when I worked in radio and I did promotions for like clubs, concerts and all that stuff, I was always a shy guy. Like I was the supervisor, but then everybody else was like the interacting with the crowd and doing. I'm not that kind of person, but I realized that, okay, now if I want to, meet people, get people to get familiar with the brand, that I got to go and speak for myself. Because a lot of people was like, "Is that you? Or is that you?" Because I got a big old picture, poster of my book cover and stuff. Like, that's really you. I'm like, yeah. And then, like I said, with being here in Jacksonville, military town, so I got that respect from veterans and stuff, people that were active duty. So that was pretty dope. Yeah. And let's see, you already did that. So what is it like being an independent author? Now I'm taking notes because, like I said, I'm trying to get to your level in terms of the releases of books. And so what is it like being an independent author? I mean, you're not under a company to where it's like, okay, you got to release a book by this date. You got to do this by that date. It's like you wake up and it's basically like a new day of how you want to market yourself.
Yes. I would say that it has its perks and benefits, but with every great thing comes some not so great things. I would say the only not so great thing about it is that everything is independent as it comes to promotion, funds, material, all of that, that's straight out of pocket. So being independent, you have to factor that in when you get started. Most people just start and they're like, I didn't think about this part. I'm one of those people. But being able to tell my own story my way, no one can change it, no one can dictate it, no one can tell me I don't think you can say that, or try to fix what I'm trying to do to make it the way they want it. So I would say that is probably the biggest thing that I love about being an independent author. And like you said, releasing. I get to pick my own release dates. I get to pick how often they come out. If I want to release 5 back to back, I can do that. If I want to release one this year and wait 3 years, I can do that. I have no one telling me what to do or when. And just being in control of all of that, having your control is probably the best thing for me. Because I mean, you hear most people say like, I don't like to be told what to do. When it comes to my craft, I don't. So this is like the best avenue.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Like I said, it was a few things because I paid for an editor to do my big shouts out to Patricia. I forget Patricia Ogilvie. She's out of Canada. And then my sister was like, Junior, let me look at this book before you put it out. Then she goes in there and was like, well, you said this about me, and can you? And I'm like, dude. So I said, okay, I'm gonna let you do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you write, you've read 1,001 books. So, she's like, I don't want people to think I'm this way. And I'm like, ain't nobody gonna think nothing, because as long as I'm not talking bad about you, that's all that really matters, But
Right.
yeah, I went ahead and I did that, but it's always good to have extra eyes, and especially someone who knows the story. And it added, it added to, I guess, get me to hurry up and put it out, because she was like, "You're not releasing this book until I view it." And I was like, "Okay." And then she came back with, it was almost like one of my term papers. It was like all these red lines and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I ain't the professional, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go with it.
It's
But
okay. I had an author too. I had an editor. I had an editor for all of my books to help, just to make like grammar check and everything. But in telling her, like, I want my story to say the same. I just want you to catch the grammar. Anything else, that's the only thing you get to change. So
yeah, because that's what I told her. She's like, "Do you want me to change?" I said, "No, I want it to sound like me. I don't want it to sound like anybody else. Maybe that's on a whole nother level for a big name author. I'm not it, because it's not making, I want the book to be as relatable to people as possible. Not a book that's going to be like, what is he talking about? Like,
right.
Why did he say it that way? He could have just said, I got drunk, fell, and busted my, busted my behind. You ain't got to put it in the extra, extra terminology for it and stuff. So that's real dope. Okay. Which book do you have nearby besides your journal?
All of them. Actually.
Okay, well, let's go one by one, and then I'll decide which one I want you to share a paragraph or two from.
Okay, so I have the first book, Why Say I Do. So this is the first one. I don't know how to flip the camera, but this is the second one, My Missing Piece, My Other Half. Sorry, my ring light is very, very, very bright. And then here's Passionate Crime 1. And then Passionate Crime Part 2. That glare, I apologize. And then the final one, The Heart Wants What Hurt It.
And then before you can go ahead and find a page for um, The Heart Wants What Hurt It.
Oh, The Heart Wants What Hurt It.
Yeah, yeah. And then as you're doing that, what was who did the artwork for your book covers?
I did. All of them.
Oh,
So this one obviously is myself. I did a full photo shoot for this one. So that one I definitely did for myself. The other four, even down to the journal, I got the imagery off of Canva. So I done all my book covers for free.
okay, ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all. And they're actually beautiful, beautiful covers. So I did definitely go through Canva to do that. And super easy.
Okay.
Super easy. I just had to, the hardest part was trying to find a cover that went with the story. So I did a story first and then made the cover. So that was probably the hardest part for sure. Let me find you this page. Oh, you're going to put me on the spot. I don't usually read.
Of course. Hey, like I didn't I say that there was going to be one or two questions that
you got me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me find it. So let me give you a little background about the book first, so it can help segue into the book. So The Heart Wants What Hurt It is part 2 from Why Say I Do. So Why Say I Do was the first book that I released. It was about an attorney named Sonata who was married to a man named Jakeem. She has 3 male best friends. Well, trials, tribulations of her marriage start to show themselves, and her husband's not super faithful. Well, in the process of her finding out that her husband's not faithful, she decides she wants to do her own venturing, and who she starts to venture with becomes the good part. And then I stop it there. So everybody's like, well, where's part 2? What's going to happen? Who does she end up with? So I reveal in The Heart Wants What Hurt It who she actually ends up with. So I can't like give it away without giving it away. But
Okay.
I mean, we give it away. And so The Heart Once What Hurt It picks up where Why Say I Do left off. And Sonata's now single. She's starting to date again. And the person who really truly wants to be with her can't be with her at the moment. So he's now dating, trying to do what people do when they can't have who they want.
Mm.
So he's dating a woman. And after the woman finally realizes, like, this is just not going to work, he ends things, and the woman, she goes to her house and she gets her belongings. So she takes her belongings that she left behind. I'll go ahead and reveal his name is Amari. He made sure to pack all her things, place the following day to Danny's house. Danny was extremely heartbroken, but when he came to her place to ask for everything back, she decided to say, you know, he apologized to her. He said, I believe you left some things at my place and I just wanted to bring them over. And I apologize. She said, thank you. And I've been thinking about this whole thing, and I have to take ownership for my part in this as well. You were never over sin, and I knew that, but I turned a blind eye to it. You were never done loving her, so how could I have expected you to love me the way that I deserve to be loved?
Mm.
And there's your snippet.
Okay, appreciate it. What up, Pope the Blueprint? Appreciate you stopping through, brother. Really do, really do. Big shouts out to B More. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to get into these books because these storylines sound really good. I read the description of each one, and I know you don't want to give out all the information, but there are definitely some interesting reads, and I need to get my hands on all those copies because you know, you never know. That's one thing that's good about books is that how much the books itself can actually relate to either your past or your current situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like. I like about just the writing process. It's
Yes.
really dope because
And
you
that
never know
part, yeah.
who's experiencing, you know, experiencing what in life.
Yes, that
And
part really touches home too. Even though it's a very small part, when I wrote that, I felt it from a place because you have to think, but in this life, like we date, we talk to, we meet new people, and we get hurt often from dating someone that's not over someone else, but we try to stick in there. We still try to love them through it, and we end up hurting ourselves. And in the book, Danny definitely took ownership and saying, like, I knew it. I knew you weren't over her, but I still tried, and that was my fault. So you definitely got to read it.
yeah, because I keep it real just to share my own personal experience, which might be in book number 4. But when I first had got sober, and like I said, I left my ex-wife and came to Minnesota, and I was like, I need the companionship. I need the company. I just need the conversation. But then I was like, do I really want this? Because I didn't, the last time I saw my ex-wife, the police was there. You know what I mean? And like, I cleaned the house out and the police couldn't do nothing about it. But, you know, you don't hear that in 2021, that the men get all the stuff in the house. You don't hear that.
No,
It's called
no.
beating someone to the punch. You know, that's what it was. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's just, you know, life experiences, and I'm all for it. I'm all about it. And I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I swear, because I sure had something to share, but I totally forgot. I'm sorry. This interview is all over the place, but don't worry about it. We gonna finish it strong. Um, let's see. You did the sample, favorite book. Um, we were just actually just talking about it. What, like during your writing process, what were some challenges that you faced? I know you said, this is what you said, these are your words, that they're not necessarily your experiences per se, you know. So seeing that it's not your experiences, what were the challenges? Like, you know, you've written enough books that you had to experience some type of, you know, life changing, you know, whatever the case may be. There was one point I said, man, the hell with this. I'm not putting this book out. You know what I'm saying? So what are some challenges that you faced, and not particularly just one, but just like overall in general?
Trying to write to connect, because I can write a book and nobody could connect with it. I wanted to write something that people could understand, people that could connect with, something that seemed authentic and not just, this doesn't seem real. So I wanted to write something realistic, and it was just like, maybe I haven't been through it, but you got to use your imagination and you have to go for it. So I think that was my biggest challenge, trying to turn my imagination into something that someone could understand, someone that someone could relate to, or it seemed interesting for them. I definitely have a lot of writer's block, so having to get over that and connecting the chapters and one book to the other and to another, and then try to switch it up. Because all of my books are obviously urban fiction, they're romance novels, they're love stories, and then I had to switch it up with the Passionate Crime series. But I was like, how do I switch this up? I don't know how to write about this, and getting over it and making it happen, and it happened.
Right. Yeah, because that's pretty much what I'm gonna have to do is I guess connecting my first book to the Army life, even though like there is I think the chapter of my ex-wife, I guess you can say, was the gist of my military career. But what I'm gonna do is it'll be like basically, and I'm not ashamed of it. It was a drunken night, of me being locked up in the Phoenix jail. So I'm going to start it there and then just kind of go like step by step of like what happened up until that day I got shipped out, and all the way up until they hand me my DD-214 and was like, we don't need you no more. So that's where it's going to be. It's not necessarily going to be about the marriage, but just how the marriage itself affected my military performance.
Yeah. Okay.
And then of course coincided with alcohol.
Okay.
And so let's see, here we go. How is it you've obviously have you have your 5 books that are out. How is it as far as networking within the author community?
I would say a little difficult because I'm not super into social media. I'm not into networking. Like you said, being the shy, I'm an ambivert. I'm equal parts introvert and extrovert. And I'm like, you would think, oh, being on social media all day is fun. No, my business partner tells me you need to be posting at least 3 to 5 times a day. Like your timeline needs to see you 3 to 5 times a day. And I tell her like, she's like, hurry, come on, get to it. And she stays on me, and I still fall short. There's some like all this week, I think I may have posted twice. And then I'm like, my book sales. And she's like, well, you're not doing your part. And I'm like, you're right. So I would say difficult because I don't put myself out there enough. So if it is difficult, it's for my own self. As far as connecting with some of the people who I've connected with, it's been great. Like I've had like Norian Love, who's watching now. Shout out to you. I read his amazing book, Autumn, and another one of his books. He's been great. He and I have chatted before. And so he's definitely led me to some pages to follow and things of that nature. So within the community, reaching out to one another has been great. As far as me putting myself out there to continue to connect and reach people, I'm so bad at that part.
Yeah, because what I have found, just like with just networking in general, not necessarily being about an author, is, and some people might not agree with me, but the representation, especially in the sober community, is not there. It's I'm starting to find more, but I don't think it should take this long to find as many as I think my followers have grown since I really been doing this, maybe 100 to 150. And of those, maybe 20 blacks, and just within the sober community. I know that it's out there, but it's just that you got to do, like you said, you got to do a little bit more homework or legwork to get, to find that community. Because it's not just, displayed for us to reach maybe for another group of people.
Right.
But for us, it's a little bit difficult because we don't necessarily, we're starting to address the mental health issues and stuff like that, but it's still not being truly addressed on social media. And I don't knock celebrities that are sober. I don't knock that. I'm happy for them.
Right.
But they're in the spotlight.
Use that.
I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I feel my reputation is more important than theirs because they can slip up and pay somebody to make it go away.
Right.
I can't.
Authentication. And I appreciate you for being so transparent with your journey. People need to hear that. Those that are hiding from their truth and those who are going through it and don't want to talk about it. So you being the face of it and you being so, like I said, transparent about it, the following will definitely find you for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. And before I ask you this other question, you said you had one for me. I don't even know if you asked it yet. We didn't have like 5 different technical difficulties, 4 of
On
them
my
being
end, I'm
you,
so sorry.
4 of them being you, and then one, I don't know what happened. So, but yeah, so if you got some questions, the floor is yours. You know.
Yes, I think you already answered. I wanted to know what your story and your brand, like where you're taking it now. You said you have your books, you have your apparel. What else? What comes next? Are you going to just stay in that pool, or you going to branch out, try something new? What would you like to accomplish next?
Um, it would be that would be an easier question if we didn't have this pandemic,
Okay.
because I know that I want to do speaking engagements. Like, I think that, like I said, my story is interesting. It's different in so many different many different ways, because like I said, I shouldn't have been in the Army as long as I was, but it was somebody looking out for me. And even when I made mistakes, people still were vouching for me to say, okay, give this guy a chance. And so I definitely want to go back to St. Cloud State and speak. They know it because I've been bugging them, and I'm gonna reach out to the president next week of the university and let it be known. But they, there are college tours in terms of like all these, because like when I was doing my undergrad, there was something called the Big 12, the Big 12 conference, and it was for all the Black student organizations within the Big 12. They would come together, but then they would invite colleges that were outside of the Big 12 conference, like Texas, Texas A&M, things like that. And so I went University of Kansas, University of Missouri, and I think maybe one other school. I remember Nikki Giovanni was there. She spoke. And they just had like different workshops for the whole entire weekend. And I think it's important to be able to reach that college crowd, because they're the ones that they're away from home, underage drinking, God knows what else is going on behind those closed doors at these parties, what to experience like once those college days are over. So yeah, I would say the public speaking circuit, definitely. I really and truly want to make 12 Faces of Sober a movie, and I believe I will. It's just a matter of getting it in the right hands. You know, I've gotten a lot of praise in terms of, like you said, being transparent and then just telling it like it is. This is what happened to me. I lost this, I lost that. I gained this, gained that. And so I just want to be able to just be a vessel for the next person. If I could reach one, like my one of my buddies that was on here, me and him met when I first got stationed in El Paso back in 2013. He was literally like the first person I met when I was doing the in processing. And, we were drinking buddies and we partied and all that stuff. And I got sober, and then he just got sober recently. And, and he did a few things, similar to my situation, and it's good. And I bug him. I like, that's what it is. Like for me, is that with me creating this platform, a lot of people have came to me and say, hey, Kenny, I struggle with drinking. Hey, Kenny, I'm struggling in my marriage. And I'm not a professional, even though my master's degree is in communications. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you my experiences. I know what it feels like to be on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like when I was in Phoenix, I lived on 35th Avenue, and you can Google this, 35th Avenue, and I think like Lower Buckeye. That's where the jails are at. And I stayed in a homeless shelter across the street from the jails, and I lived on 35th Avenue. So, and I drove by there every day going to my VA doctor's appointments and wondered what this homeless shelter was. And then I was there for 45 days before I got sober to where I am today. So I know, you know what I mean? So my thing is that because I do have a background in communications and a lot of experiences, I just want to be able to just share it and let people know that there's ways to get out of this. Like I went to South Africa for free, studied at Nelson Mandela University. I want to be able to tell that experience. And they put $3,000 in my pocket. The government did. And they wrote that 3,000 off. So this is all true stuff. So it's just to let people know, like, okay, I was a guy who was told that I would never make it in college. I was a guy who got a master's degree at 37, 38. And now I'm basically doing what I love. And that's talking about bettering yourself, changing your life. So I guess my goal is to continue to write books, continue to put out a message, continue to get one person to read the book and understand, like, yo, this dude had an interesting life, but it's super good that now he is not about that and is now trying to promote, positivity. And, there's ways to overcome obstacles. And that's the reason why I wanted you to be on the show, is because, like, just listening to your posts and things like that, it was just like, wow, like, this is a good person that needs to get, to speak to more, to a different audience. And that's what I'm all about, is just, hopefully, like I said, I ain't gonna say hopefully, in the next year or two, when you become famous and you got 2 and 3 movies under your belt, you be like, hey, I remember that one dude that showed love. Hey,
Yeah.
I'll be right there to say, yep, she was on my show. Here go the archive. There it is. So, but yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. I don't know, because it wasn't supposed to be an interview for me.
No, you're good. It definitely answered my question for sure. I gotta know more about, the person I'm talking to, because I can only look at your page for so long, but to get to know the true person behind the page is who I am. I need to know who you really are. And you just told me. So I love that.
Sure. Yeah. But see, like, and then I'm gonna just say this because I know she's gonna get mad, but I want to write a book about my relationship currently, but
okay,
she ain't gonna do it. But she's a best-selling author, though. That's the part that's crazy. So she had a book out before me, like a whole year and some change. This is before I met her, though. Okay. But yeah, I definitely want to write it because it's a unique story, and it capped, I don't know. It's just weird. I just like talking about my life, like, because I've been through a lot of stuff, and it's just, now it's positive and good. I don't know who that is. Denise. I don't know. It might be somebody I don't think that's. Hello, how are you? Because I don't know who that is.
My
oh, okay.
Thank you for joining. Love you.
Okay. And then, so hold on. You say you from Denver, right? So you said Denver?
Yes.
Okay, I got a quick story to tell you about Denver.
Okay.
Okay. So I used to work for a rental car company, and we had to do a training in Denver back in, it was like September of 2006. Why y'all had snow in like the first week of September?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, coming from like 110-degree weather in Phoenix to come into Denver. And it's like, okay, this is before the technology of being able to look at your phone and tell you what the weather is in real time. But yeah, I was disappointed with that. But yeah, Denver's a nice little spot though. Denver's cool.
To visit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm good on snow. I don't want to see snow too much more.
That was my
especially after coming from Minnesota. I'm cool. I'm minus 22 and minus 40-degree temperatures. I don't miss that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the end of the interview. Okay. And my last question to you is, what advice would you give a person who wants to write a book?
Right. Just write and tell your story. Don't let anyone change your mind. If you have a thought that you want to write it, you have that thought, you have that feeling for a reason. So just write and tell it your way.
All right. Now, but before we conclude this interview, I definitely want to say thank you. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the energy. I appreciate you basically sharing a different, like I said, you educated me on just the urban fiction right there, and the real life experiences that one may go through, and being able to be comfortable enough to tell it. And I think that's dope. I think it's awesome. I want to see more books, despite the fact I haven't read one of them yet, but I will. And I like the concept. I like the concept that you have because it's, you know, to be honest with you, it will draw in a lot more people because of the fact that they can relate to those stories.
Mhm.
You know, I guess you can say we've all been in relationships that we had no business of being in, and we stayed a little too long.
Oh, yes.
Just because. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. We got a Watson in the room. Is that Watson? Kimberly Watson? Hello, you might be related to me.
Yes, that is my mother. When I seen your last name, I was gonna ask. I'm like,
Oh, snap.
okay.
Where your family from?
So they're from Texas. So they
Oh,
came
okay.
from Longview in Gilmer, Texas, and now they're in Colorado.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, my family in Colorado. Nah, yeah, my dad's at least the Watsons, my dad's family, they're all from Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah, near there. But so here's your opportunity one more time to plug all the good stuff, your book, social media, you know, whatever it is that you want to share before we I let you go so you can enjoy your Saturday.
Okay. Well, I am on the platform Instagram and Facebook under Aubrey Monet. All five of my urban fiction novels and my self-love journal you can purchase on Amazon, hard copy or Kindle for your ebooks. What else? I right now started at midnight last night up until Wednesday the 31st. I do have a free ebook download. You can go download all of the ebook copy books, read them, review them, enjoy them up until Wednesday the 31st at midnight. And then I'm in the works right now of putting together an author's course. So I should be releasing that in the fall. I want to teach my people, you know, I get the question, how did you become an author? How did you do it? What avenue did you take? And I actually did the process with my business partner and good friend Lupe, and we got her to become a published author in 6 weeks, and her book is out. So I know if I can do it with her, we're going to go ahead and segue to teach other people how to do it. So that's my upcoming project. But if you ever want to get in contact with me, have any questions, Instagram or Facebook at Aubrey Monet, you can find me there.
There you have it. There you have it. Very talented author. Great conversation this afternoon, despite all the technical difficulties. We finished the interview.
We did.
And we finished it strong. Definitely. Once again, like I said, thank you so much for taking this time out your busy schedule on a Saturday. Now I can go watch some football this way. But
you can go watch your football.
You know, I haven't even watched no football all preseason, so I definitely need to catch at least one game.
You got to catch.
But
thank you too as well for reaching out to me and inviting me to be on your platform and sharing your story with me. I really do appreciate that.
No problem, no problem. That's what it is, and I'll continue to watch you continue to prosper in this author community, and I look forward to seeing more positive posts on social media and more books.
Yeah.
And like I said, once I read them, trust me, I am going to leave a review.
Please.
And it's going to be honest, because you done already said a few things like, oh, yeah, you definitely want to read this and this. Okay, so I'm going to check it out.
Yes, please check them out.
But again, thank you. Once again, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you getting back with me, agreeing to come on. And like I said, you guys can, once again, you can get my book and her book. They're both on Amazon. All you got to do is type in Aubrey Monet, and she has 5 books in a journal, and 12 Faces Sober got 1 book. So like I said, you got options. And like this is what it's all about, a platform to showcase talent. And this is talent. Don't nobody got to train. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody got to train you, but you know, it's just dope to be able to showcase your talent, period. So, because I definitely wasn't going to be an author. I hated writing papers. I still don't like writing. Look, I had to quit my PhD program. Like, no, I'm not writing 200 pages in like 2 weeks. No, I'm good. So, but enough rambling. Have a wonderful day. And thank you again. This is 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast. This video will be up on YouTube. Let's see, what is today? It'll be up before the 1st. Okay. So I got 3 to upload. So just look out for that. I'll tag you, put all your information on YouTube as well. And once again, thank you so much for coming on. And you have a wonderful rest of the day and a wonderful rest of the weekend.
Thank you. You as well. Enjoy your football.
Right. I will. You take care.
You as well.
This is 12 Faces Sober, y'all. Have a good one.